Welcome into Couch Coaches. I'm Charlie McGowan, and I have Andrew Faircloth with me. Andrew, how are we doing?
We're doing great, Charlie. A little late, but recording, but we're doing great.
It is a little late. We had a great, we just know it's a great weekend of sports in general, and today was a great day of college baseball. The first game of the series for many, and some played yesterday, but there were some great games. We predicted some series before today, and uh, Andrew, go through the Friday slate of what
All
happened
right.
earlier today.
All right, I'm gonna just hit the highlights. Like you said, there's a lot of big matchups tonight, but I'm gonna just hit the highlights. Arkansas thumps Georgia on the road 13-3. UNC run rules Wake Forest 11-1. Troy drops one against James Madison 3-7. Texas takes down Kentucky on the road 6-3. Auburn picks up a big win at home over the number 3 LSU Tigers 8-4. Texas A&M beats South Carolina very handily, 17 to nothing. Tennessee squeaks out a win against number 6 Ole Miss 3-2. Georgia Tech bounces back after a tough midweek loss to Auburn earlier this week against Cal 8-5. Mississippi State run rules Bama on the road surprisingly 13
Mm,
to 3. And then Oklahoma takes a big game one win over Vanderbilt 9-4.
a bunch of great matchups. Really, really good. Just weekend slate in the SEC and in college baseball just in general. I want to touch on that Texas A&M South Carolina game. We know they started yesterday on Thursday, and A&M got that walk off win in crazy fashion, and then they I don't know if you saw it, but for celebration around the bases,
Oh, the Masters
they put the
jacket.
Master jacket on.
Yeah, that was
I thought
wild.
that was awesome. I haven't seen that one before, but you see, yesterday South Carolina is. It's not like the SEC is easy, but South Carolina is generally one of the lower quality teams in the SEC. And Texas A&M struggles yesterday, but today they put on an absolute offensive clinic. 17 runs, like you said, and pitching came through as well. But this just looks like the Texas A&M team we were looking forward to in the beginning or in the preseason, and they were preseason ranked one and coming off the Omaha run and just all the firepower they had last year. It just seemed like they were coming back this year, and today it kind of showed that. Andrew, do you know? What do you think of this Texas A&M team?
Well, like you said, Charlie, last year, big Omaha run. We kind of figured, at least I did, I thought they'd be kind of towards the top of the standings coming into the season. Like in April, I feel like they'd be towards the top. But like you said, they've had some early season struggles, getting off to a rough start in conference play. But I feel like this series might be sort of a reset button for them, honestly. Like that big walk-off win last night. And tonight, putting on an offensive clinic, 17 runs. Like you said, I mean, the SEC runs pretty deep this year. You're looking at a conference with 6 teams in the top 10, potentially hosting 10 regional spots this year. So no weekend is really easy in the SEC.
Right.
So to beat South Carolina as handily as they did tonight, I feel like this weekend might be where Texas A&M, like you said, we get to see that team that we had expected to see at the beginning of the season.
Right. This could just be a confidence booster type weekend in a way. Unfortunately, if you're Aggie fans, you kind of hope that it's not too little, too late. It is only four series in to the SEC, but you'd have to have a lot of really big wins um, to gain back that ground you've already lost this season. But moving on, I like the Oklahoma Vanderbilt matchup. That was just a really intriguing matchup coming into the weekend. I personally had Oklahoma and Andrew opposed with Vanderbilt, and I got the better of them in this one. It's only Friday, but Oklahoma came out really hot. The um, pitching staff is always hot. Oklahoma has one of the best pitching staffs in college baseball, and their Friday night starter is a top five MLB draft pick projected. He is just unreal. Um, Andrew, what do you think of this matchup this weekend?
Well, to be honest with you, Charlie, I haven't heard much about Oklahoma baseball in recent years. I could be wrong. I feel like they had a couple of deep runs like, in the past 3 or 4 years in the postseason. But like we mentioned, Texas and Oklahoma first year in the SEC, right, Charlie?
Right.
So I haven't been paying attention much to Oklahoma baseball, but I know Vanderbilt historically has been a dominant team in the SEC. And looking at this SEC standings this year, both teams, well, I think before tonight they were both 6-6, 7-6, somewhere around there, both middle of the SEC pack. I knew coming into the weekend that this was going to be a series to watch, of course. Both teams middle of the pack, trying to, because right now, Charlie, like we said, four series in, teams are trying to figure out where they want to be in the standings. Some teams are trying to break into that top upper half of the standings.
Right.
Some teams are falling down, like we mentioned A&M earlier. So like I'm kind of yapping a little bit, but yeah,
It's
these
all right.
I feel like I knew it was going to be an intriguing matchup, and like I said, Vanderbilt's always been an SEC powerhouse. So yeah, I thought this would be an interesting series.
The starting pitcher for Oklahoma I was thinking of earlier is Kyson Witherspoon. I couldn't think of his name, but he was top 10 in the country coming into the weekend with 64 strikeouts. He had a 1.75 fielding independent pitching. I don't know what that stat means, but he has a pretty low ERA. He's in the SEC. Um, Kid's unreal. He's got a really good breaking ball. Runs up 95, up 98, I think. He's just all you need in a pitcher. And yeah, it was nice to see my Sooners, I guess, get get the win tonight. Uh, but moving on, I like the Florida Missouri matchup. They were also a Thursday start for the SEC series. They were postponed tonight. But Andrew, what do you think of that Florida Missouri matchup from this weekend?
I haven't done too much reading into Florida, Missouri because or Missouri is currently 0-13 in
Right,
conference play. Florida's struggling too, 2-11. But honestly, I'm a little surprised that Florida is this low because I can't
right.
recall Florida ever being this bad in college baseball,
I know.
honestly. But
It's
coming into
when you have
the
Kevin O'Sullivan, it's just hard to believe that you start this poorly in SEC play. And this is almost the exact. I was thinking about this earlier today. This is almost the exact same storyline of Texas A&M and South Carolina. It's just like the same kind of vibe where Florida was top five preseason ranked team. They have all this firepower on their roster. They're just so talented, and then you just start off so poorly and can't really seem to get anything to click. And this is more of a confidence booster kind of weekend. It showed yesterday when they won by a margin of 9 runs, and it just looks like the Florida team that we're used to. Like you said, I mean, this is just Kevin O'Sullivan just coaches really good teams, and yeah, they're just disciplined teams. They're usually just explosive on all sides of the ball. When I think Florida, I think of Jack Caglione, um, just both sides of the ball, just hitting tanks and then throwing 150 miles an hour. Like um, that kind of baseball. And Florida being able to get it done at least yesterday. We don't know whether they would have won the series today or not, but being able to get this kind of confidence booster it's intriguing if you are a Florida fan. I feel like. Sorry.
which ones do you want? I think definitely got to talk about the Arkansas Georgia game one.
I was gonna hit the like higher seeded ones later.
All right, we can
Um,
do that too.
let's.
That works with
I
me.
kind of want to touch on Alabama Mississippi State because
Oh yeah,
that's.
that was kind of
I
surprising.
mean, coming into the weekend, it's almost like a no brainer. Take Alabama and lead. I mean, that's from my because Alabama has just been so. Um, I wouldn't say surprising, but like I didn't expect them to be this good, or look this good at least, and then they were. And you have Justin LeBron, you have a pretty solid pitching staff, and yeah, I just thought Alabama was gonna take care of business, and looks like Mississippi State had something to say with that. Alabama or Andrew, what do you think of at least today in this series?
Mississippi State running rolling Bama on the road was definitely not on my bingo card, especially after last weekend. They came to Auburn in a relatively competitive series. A lot of people thought Bama would come in and take the series. And like you said, Charlie, I think Bama's been like one of those surprising teams in the SEC where they've looked like on any given that they can beat any team on any given night. They've
Right.
been that hot. And so I kind of I definitely thought, I mean, Mississippi State 4-9 in this in conference play this year. I definitely thought Bama would take this one, kind of like bounce back from that Auburn series. So yeah, I was a little surprised when I saw that.
Yeah, it's definitely impressive when you hold Alabama offense and Kate Snell and just LeBron to only 3 runs, and then you pounce on their pitching staff and drop 13 runs and 17
13.
hits. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. Um, but I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. That's just a rather upset. Moving on to some of the bigger matchups. Let's hit on Texas Kentucky. Texas gets a big, not a, I wouldn't say big. I mean just a kind of a, we knew this was gonna happen when not. Kentucky's tough on the road, as us Auburn fans know. Uh, I mean, it's a disciplined ball club, but Texas obviously just has that talent and has that pitching staff really has come alive recently as of late, and I feel like it showed today. But Andrew, what do you think of this one?
I thought this could be a sneaky good series. I mean, last weekend Kentucky played Ole Miss pretty tight, I believe. I
Yeah,
think Ole Miss took the series, but I believe Kentucky took them to extras a couple times. And Ole Miss, very talented ball club. Looking on the Texas side, coming off a big sweep over Georgia, I just kind of wanted to see where these two teams were, see if Kentucky could sneak one on them. Evidently not tonight, but I still feel like it'll be a competitive series tomorrow and wrapping up on Sunday. So that's kind of my take on it.
yeah, I like what you said
Kentucky
about,
discipline team.
yeah, Texas coming off of arguably one of the biggest, like, just SEC week, or just biggest weekends in baseball for their pro. I'd just be for anyone's program. Just sweeping a team like Georgia, like they did last week, it was just a display of greatness in what they did, and I was very surprised. And like you said, it was interesting to see how they come off of that weekend and carry that momentum. And today it showed pretty well, but still got to get one more to secure the series. But moving on, I think we're going to touch on Tennessee Ole Miss. Andrew, what are your initial thoughts on this one?
To be honest, I haven't gotten to look in a whole lot to Ole Miss, but I know Tennessee's been off to a hot start this year, starting off conference play 10-3. Again, sneaking out another win over Ole Miss today, 3-2. This was a tough series to pick. Obviously, you got number five against number six in the country, but I don't know. I like Tennessee coming into the series for some reason. I just had a good feeling about them, but as close as tonight was, I feel like it's going to be like that the rest of the weekend. I feel like every game is going to be a tight one.
Yeah.
But this should be interesting to see because, like I mentioned earlier, teams are trying to figure out, trying to get good footing in the top upper half of the SEC play, the SEC standings. So Tennessee right there in the hunt, tied with LSU right now for third in the standings. So, like I said, it should be interesting to see as both teams try to get their foot in the standings.
Yeah, this is one of the more definitely one of the more pictured battles of today, at least on Friday. Um, when you have two studs like Liam Doyle and Hunter Elliott facing off on the bump, I mean, it's just pure cinema. I don't know how else you say it. I mean, that's just two great arms, and Liam Doyle coming into the weekend leading the nation in strikeouts, and Hunter Elliott just, I mean, he just, there's some aura around his name as Hunter Elliott. He just has that it factor on the bump, and this was, I mean, obviously, like you said, this is just one of those series that you look forward to coming into the weekend. No matter if you're a Tennessee or Ole Miss fan, if you just like baseball in general, this is a great series. You have two great ball clubs. I did pick Ole Miss just because it's hard to win at Swayze in Oxford and the beer corner, all the stuff come into it. But Tennessee really impressed me today. Um, I think they lost a little bit of momentum over the last few weeks, dropping the A&M series, I believe, last week, and because that was definitely a surprise, and losing that number one ranking, I feel like it was definitely interesting to see how they would react or respond to that, um, just adversity, and it's good to see they jump out early in this series. Yeah, number 3 LSU and number 11 Auburn taking a trip, or the Bayou Bengals taking a trip down to Plainsman Park. This is just everything you want in an SEC baseball series. And yes, we're obviously biased because we're Auburn fans, but this is just, I mean, everyone across the nation in college baseball. I mean, this is definitely one of the highlighted weekend series, and it just has everything you want in a college baseball series. Andrew, what were the stats coming in this one?
Yeah, number three LSU coming in this one, 31-3, 10-2 in conference play. On the road at number 11 Auburn, 23-10, 6-6 in conference play. Kind of, I feel like the records don't really tell a story for Auburn, but LSU, number three for a reason. Only three losses coming into your picking up a loss tonight, of course. Auburn taking an 8-4 win over them in game one. But this is a talented LSU ball club. I mean, they found ways to win all season long. Their Friday night starter tonight, what was it? Is his name Cade Anderson?
Yeah, Kate Anderson.
6-0 coming into this one, a perfect starter. So yeah, that was kind of the preview, the statistical preview of
There
this
really
matchup.
there really was a lot of storylines coming in this one. Also, Auburn's surprising ace Sam Dutton, former LSU reliever, didn't really get much action in the LSU bullpen, but all of a sudden, he is one of the best arms in the country. I can confidently say that after facing Alabama last week, going 7 innings clean, no runs, 2 hits given up, and then this week he goes 6 innings, no runs given up, and on 3 hits. I mean, he is. Is it premature to say that he's one of the best arms in college baseball right now? I'm it's hard for me to believe that there's many pitching better than Sam Dutton right now, and he's just carving up SEC lineups week in and week out, and it's utter surprising. I mean, thinking about how non-contributing he was at LSU, but also other storyline. Chris Stanfield, center fielder for LSU, was former center fielder for Auburn coming in. He was a beloved athlete at Auburn, and kind of shocking to see him transfer, especially to an in-conference rival. So definitely a few interesting storylines to look at it when you come into this weekend. But just an absolute, I want to say an absolute dominant performance on Friday by Auburn, just from pitching side of things and like you said, getting after Cade Anderson. That is no easy task. Future top 5, top 3, maybe number 1 pick in this upcoming draft. Just has everything you want in a pitcher. Runs the fastball up pretty high up there. Probably hits triple digits, and then has a disgusting breaking ball.
Yeah, Charlie, like you said, a lot of storylines coming in this one. One storyline I wanted to highlight was the Tigers. They've been battle tested all year, of course. After this weekend, the Tigers would have played 16 out of their last 19 games would be played against top 25 opponents.
Golly.
They are 9-6 against ranked opponents this year, including 5-2 at home. They've been a dominant team at home. And this has been a common theme for Auburn, at least over the last past 2 years. The Tigers have yet to lose back-to-back home games in 24 contests. This is dating back to last season. So really, this Auburn Tigers team has been a tough team to be at home recently, at least over the last couple of years. The Tigers have yet to lose back-to-back home matchups in 22 and 24 contests. This is dating back to last season. So this coming into this one, it was interesting to see how their level of play would rise. Bro, I'm like,
No, you're straight.
I
I was tracking.
feel like I'm just like yapping in circles. Like I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. I don't know. Maybe it's
No,
because it's like 12:30.
yeah.
All right, we can like transition into the Arkansas one, I guess.
Well, I do want to touch on a few um, just spots in the Auburn lineup. What was
All
I
right,
thinking?
I'll let you.
Yeah, Andrew. I like how you're saying this is kind of a gritty team, but Butch Thompson with talent is just a really scary formula for any other team in his way. This team is obviously number 3 overall recruiting class according to Perfect Game this past year, and I don't know if they're I don't know if when when Auburn is when Auburn is hot and their pitching staff is rolling like they have been as of late, there's not a lot of teams in college baseball that can beat them. I know Georgia swept them a few weeks ago, and they got the best of them. But I think this is one of the best teams in America. And yes, you have a lot of freshmen. It could be inconsistent, but you still have guys like Ike Irish and Cooper McMurray. You bring in guys like Bristol Carter and Eric Snow, who have been absolutely just huge pieces coming out of the transfer portal. And having Butch Thompson with talent is some of the most fun stuff to watch. I know we both can attest. And I'm just super excited to see how far this Auburn team goes. All right, moving on to Arkansas and Georgia. Probably over college baseball this weekend, probably the matchup that everyone has been looking forward to. I personally took Georgia this morning in it, and I'm starting to regret that heavily because Arkansas absolutely smothered the Bulldogs today, and it didn't even look like a contest, to be honest with you. Zach Root for Arkansas, transfer portal pitcher. He gave up 3 earned, but it didn't really matter when you're putting up 13 on the offensive side of things. Andrew, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Charlie coming in this one. This one was I thought this one was going to be one to keep an eye on, especially how Georgia coming off dropping 3 in a row to Texas last week. After we thought this Georgia team, or at least I did, I know you did a little bit too, Charlie, that we thought this Georgia team could arguably be the best team in the country. How hot their bats were at the beginning of the year, and still have been pretty much. So I mean, their offense leads the country in home runs by 12 home
Yeah,
runs.
it's not even close.
I mean, Arkansas too, they're talented offense as well, top 5 in the country in batting average. But like I mentioned, Charlie, the bats of Georgia kind of cooled off a little bit against Texas last week, having a cumulative .135 batting average over the series
Yeah,
against Texas. I mean, you had to give credit where credit's due. This is a Texas team who has a very talented pitching staff, also second in the country in ERA. So I don't know, it was kind of interesting to see how their offense would respond to having such a poor showing against Texas.
right.
And I feel like today was just another. I feel like it was the same story from last weekend. I mean, Arkansas threw was it Zach Root,
Yeah,
another talented pitcher, and this
he
Georgia
highly
offense
touted in the recruiting and the transfer portal over the last year. Sorry.
hot, highly talented in the transfer portal, and yeah, this I think I just wanted to see how this Georgia offense would respond to facing, as you progress through the season, you're facing better pitchers week in and week out, seeing how their offense would progress, and they didn't show up today, and I really don't think they're going to show the rest of the weekend. I think Arkansas really does take care of them, so it's going to be interesting to see how Georgia's bats if they get hot again, because if Georgia's bats get hot, they can beat anyone in the country on any
Oh
given
yeah,
night. So.
absolutely.
uh,
You're right about that, but I really truly trusted in Brian Curley and that Georgia pitching staff. They absolutely torched Auburn a few weeks ago. Um, I was looking forward to the same performance, but it is hard to beat a team like Arkansas where they're just proving me wrong day in and day out. To where it's hard for me not to say they're the best team in the country, just definitively. And going up against teams like Texas and Arkansas back to back is just absolutely brutal. Um, and I would like to see Rylan Zaborowski and Ryan Burnett get rolling again because it seems like you said they took a dip. Pretty easy. I don't know what their batting average is now, but I know Zaborowski was at around 430.43 when he was playing Auburn, and um, haven't heard much about him recently. So um, that was the Friday night recap of the SEC baseball starts the series, or I guess in A&M's case, their second game of the series. All right, we made a graphic for our Power 16 or SEC baseball teams, and we posted this morning to Instagram. Which if you aren't following, you might as well hop over there and hit the follow button. We post stuff like this. Hopefully, are starting to post stuff like this more routinely. But we posted this morning, and there might need to be some changes to it. I think personally, as there's been some matchups that have proven me wrong, and I think we could talk about it. Andrew, what are your first initial thoughts?
I think everything shakes out to the top four. I'd personally make an argument Auburn should be over Bama. It's just me.
Yeah, after
I
seeing
think
Bama today against Mississippi State, I don't know if I disagree with you.
I think Ole Miss might be a little low. I think Ole Miss probably would beat Auburn.
Uh,
Again, Auburn's so
Auburn is a very tough team to judge because when they're
if it's in Swayze, if it's in Ole Miss, I feel like Ole Miss would take the series. But if it's at Auburn, I feel
it's
like Auburn would take the series. So I feel
exactly
like
so it's
it
it's
could
hard
go
to tell.
either way.
Ole Miss
And
might be a
then
little low, but when I was making this, I didn't really see the hype around Ole Miss at the time, and they've gotten some good wins, so they could probably jump Auburn. They probably could jump all three of the ahead of them, to be honest with you. But I'd say the second row and the third row are all like you can change all.
interchange.
Yeah, you can interchange all of them. Like I mean, that's just the beauty of SEC baseball. Anyone can be the best team in the country on any given night just because of the talent that is displayed. And I will say Texas A&M, it might be a little low. Uh,
A little bit.
yeah, I mean they're looking good right now after beating Tennessee and now absolutely
How about
flogging
State
South
though?
Carolina. Mississippi State's pretty
Because
low. I don't know who they would be ahead of.
I don't know, they look good against Alabama tonight. So
Yeah, I don't know what other yeah. They need some more big wins to hop anyone else. Missouri sucks. South Carolina. I think South Carolina should be behind Texas A&M. To be honest with you.
but like you said, Charlie, SEC is so deep and there's so many talented teams. It's very hard to put them in a ranking that could go
Exactly.
like one by one like that and to rank them. It's really tough. I mean, you look at the standings. I've referred to the standings like 1,000 times, but like it's all knotted up right now. Everything's really tight. So, like I said, it's very hard to rank such a talented conference.
I actually don't know if Texas and Arkansas play this year. That would be really entertaining. I'm
Yes, it would.
I would definitely pay to see that. Except I don't have to because well, it's
Charlie,
on ESPN Plus. Do what?
Do you think Arkansas and Texas are kind of separating themselves as the top two teams? Like, I mean, we
Uh,
talked about how deep the SEC is, but do you think Arkansas and Texas are
I
like
still
a notch above?
I know it's hard. I know it's hard to believe in Georgia after the last 2 weeks or after last week, and then the horror movie that was today. But I still have belief in Georgia, and that offense is just unlike anything I've seen in a while. To be honest with you, like it's that unreal. And then when Brian Curley and that pitching staff get going, it's hard to beat this team. Auburn, I wouldn't say they had a bad weekend going into Athens, and they just got pounded. And I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think you can make an argument that Arkansas and Texas definitely took a leap forward over the last 2 weeks to separate themselves. But I would say LSU and Tennessee could be interchangeable, just because Tennessee has looked kind of fraudulent as of late. Um, Ole Miss probably could be higher. Florida, they've looked good, but I don't know if you can put them over Kentucky, Vanderbilt, or Oklahoma. Um, I think Oklahoma and Vanderbilt are almost like on the exact same tier. Like it's hard to tell. And then
I
that
think
last,
they're kind of like that middle. I think the top eight teams, I think they're right here, and I think Oklahoma and Vanderbilt are kind of that bridge between
right?
the upper SEC and the lower
Yeah,
SEC.
I'd agree with that. And Kentucky, Florida seem very similar. Yeah, A&M's climbing up. I think we should release another one each week. See how it looks at the end of the year. But yeah, you have any other thoughts?
So that's all I had to say on this one so far.
Alrighty, well, Well, thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned as we have much more coming up on not only just college baseball side of things, but uh, we're covering the world of sports. So subscribe if you want to tag
Like, comment,
along.
subscribe.